Hi guys, how are you? Bud Patterson, Vice President of Foreign Affairs with Foreign Bride 101, a place where we talk about life's larger issues and apply them to your search for an international life mate. I've got a great blog for you today, guys, and an announcement to make that I'm incredibly excited about for you. So many of you guys know that I'll be doing the upcoming tours to Odessa and to Kiev in Ukraine. We have a special event that's going to be occurring aside from all the incredibly beautiful women and the very awesome guys that I've gotten to know who are going to be on that tour. We have got kind of a neat event that I'll talk about in just a moment. I have gotten some great feedback from you guys on my last few blogs. Frankly, I've been humbled by some of the response that I've got. I had a guy from Europe call me out of the blue in the middle of my workday a week or two ago to talk about the blog around the Dan Fogelberg song. I had a gentleman who wrote to me and said, you know, that blog about the Dan Fogelberg song and how he passed away from prostate cancer in 2007. In 2007, I was having surgery for prostate cancer. I obviously survived. I'm ready to meet somebody and go on tour with you. I mean, incredibly humbling story. But honestly, to top all of that, I got a letter in my email from somebody that I met at a seminar in Philadelphia months ago that just completely stopped me in my tracks. I'll be honest with you, I shed a tear over it. I'm going to share this with you guys. And Gary, I know you're out there watching. I didn't ask you if I could use your letter. I hope you don't mind, man. You know, guys, one of the great things about being human, really the greatest thing about being human, is that we are the only species on Earth that can affect the next generation and the next generation and the next of our species. It's one of the great qualities, you know, that about being human on Earth, right? So, you know, we meet people, we share information, we share stories, and we impact lives all over the place. And Gary, your letter, I want you to know, was the impetus for a conversation that I had with our CEO, which resulted in the announcement that I'll make after I read your letter, man. So props to you. So here's a letter from my friend Gary about the last blog that I did, which talked about Jean-Dominique Bobby, the French editor of Elle magazine, who was paralyzed after a brain stem stroke, was in a coma. I talked about it previously, and could move only his left eyelid for the last 2 years of his life, and wrote a great book, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, talking about the importance of life, living it every minute, you know, not taking for granted all of those little things, tasting every taste, smelling every smell, and just enjoying everything that you have on every single day of your life. And I got a lot of great response for that blog. Here is the best response I've ever gotten to any blog I've ever done from my friend Gary. But I met you last November in Philadelphia, he says. What prompted me to write you was your latest blog and how life and synchronicity continue to surprise me. Gary says, I'm the lead technologist for a large CT department, a radiology technologist basically, at a hospital, and I had a patient that rocked my world on Friday. She's a little girl having headaches and dizziness, so her parents brought her in for a brain scan. She was scared, so I talked to her. We bonded in a few minutes, and she got so excited to do the scan that she ran and jumped on the scanning table before I could get it down low enough for her to sit on it. She was so adorable and promised me she would hold still for me. 5-year-old children rarely do this, so it was so sweet. As I was reviewing the scan before I got her off the table, I saw the source of her problems, and it broke my heart. There is a brainstem tumor on the scan. I felt terrible. I held it together long enough to get off the table and told her parents to take her right back to the doctor's office. I didn't say anything, as I'm not a physician, and I would not want to anyway. I was barely holding it together when the radiologist called and thanked me for a wonderful job, making sure the right test was done on the patient. I could barely talk as I acknowledged him and got off the phone. I was a mess inside, says Gary. The little girl was so cute, and she trusted me so much. There is a long, sad road ahead of her and her parents, and as I watched them walk away from me, I could barely hold back my tears. I had never had children of my own, but I always have a special place in my heart for the little ones. Gary continues to write, I went to lunch as soon as I finished formatting her scan. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I spent my lunch Googling research on these tumors, and I just kept getting sadder, and the prognosis is not hopeful. I went home Friday night, and I mindlessly channel surfed the TV and found nothing to amuse me. I saw a listing for a movie, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, and wondered what it was about because it had been playing a long time at the Art House Theater near me. I decided against it, and instead I went to work out and called a close friend. While speaking to her and telling her my story of how sad the day had made me, she said to me that I need to look at this and just live my life as well as I can. The best thing I can do to honor the little girl is to live a full life every moment, as she will do with her short life. I meditated and went to bed thinking about this. I wasn't sure how to feel at that time. On Saturday morning, I saw your blog, and I could not believe it. Without trying to sound too deep, he says, I felt like the whole universe was speaking to me. I appreciate your blogs because they do not sound like a sales pitch. They are thoughtful, and in this case, timely. The story of the man with the brainstem stroke and what I saw on Friday, the advice from my friend, and your advice all seem to intersect. Thanks, Bud, for all your good work. Your blogs not only encourage me to go on a trip with a foreign affair, which I will do in 2013, but I also get more out of life in general. Maybe I'll get lucky and see you again on a future trip. Keep up the good work, and thanks for reading. Whew! I didn't think I was going to make it through that. Guys, you remember this picture? I talked about this picture on an earlier blog, right? Sometimes people enter our lives for a short time. I mean, they're not there forever. But for the time that they're there, they impact us tremendously. And that's, I believe, why they're there. And so maybe that's why Gary came to my seminar, or maybe that's why I went to Philadelphia, so that I could in some way help Gary move forward, and he could in some way help me and help a foreign affair to move forward. You know, I remember this picture and the blog in which I talked about fathering and the opportunity that it presented, how many children there were in Ukraine and around the world and the places that we go to without fathers who would enjoy being part of the family and would enjoy, you know, a responsible, sincere, caring, loving guy providing that role in their lives. And, you know, John and I were just talking this morning about a number of things that we've been talking about forever. In fact, one of the topics we talked about we've actually talked about for a year, and that is that we want to be more involved in the communities in Ukraine to which we travel. So we've talked about donating to orphanages or working with certain causes. There are some great organizations in Ukraine that serve kids. Some of them specialize in teenage girls. Some of them specialize in young children with disabilities. And, you know, we're going to begin a program where we donate to some of these orphanages, some of these programs, and we're going to ask you guys to get involved if you'd like to. So I'm proud to announce that going forward, guys, we're going to have a way very shortly at our website, loveme.com, where you can make a donation to one of our incredibly awesome, deserving charities. And I'm going to be donating the first of those on this upcoming trip to Kiev to an orphanage in Sumy, which is spectacular and very deserving. We're going to take some cash, we're going to take some fruit, some candy, and we're going to make a donation. You guys are going to be able to get in touch with us and help make that donation impactful. And, you know, there are great charities everywhere you go, but there are administrative costs and fees that go toward, you know, salaries and infrastructure and that sort of thing. And all of those charities are very deserving. 100% of the money that you guys donate to us is going to go directly to the children, and we'll highlight that for you so you can see it being done. And this is something we've wanted to do. We've donated to charities for years, but this is something that we've wanted to do to give more of you awesome guys the opportunity to get involved in truly impacting as many lives as possible in this process as you go about the opportunity to meet that one glorious, beautiful woman who's going to impact your life, completing your life, and possibly adding a child to your life for the remainder of your life. So it's a great cause, guys. I'm excited about it. Ever since I read this letter, my mind has been a complete whirlwind of thoughts and ideas. So Gary and all of you guys who watch the blogs and benefit from them, God bless you.